here at the Thendara station. I'm going to drop off my keys. Got my keys. An old switch key, which I know that they will need. And we're going to see if anybody's here I can give them to. I'll check back in a little bit. So what you see before you is the loading platform for the passenger trains, Thendara station. And when the people come to board the train, this is where they load. And right now you're looking south toward Forestport and Utica. And up here you'll get a good look. These yellow bike-looking things are rail bikes, which has become a new thing up here. And now we're looking north toward Old Forge and beyond up to Tupper Lake that way. And back, another good look at the rail bikes. Now down here, if you, down there, at the end of the, so stepping out here, down at the end of the line of railroad cars on the left, there used to be a camp car where the out-of-town railroad crew could stay. It was kind of fun. It was like camping in a railroad car. And as we swing around here, that's a good look at the Van Auken Inn. And a lot of the railroad people, we would have dinners there. And the food was good. Service was good. A little pricey. But they're catering to a lot of out-of-towners. So it's going to be a little pricey. So we're going to pull out here and we're going to take this little side road over to Route 28 and catch Route 28 and go on up to Old Forge. This railroad was at one time part of the Mohawk and Malone, built by a man by the name of William Seward Webb in 1892. It is now known as the Adirondacks Scenic Railroad, and it's a tourist train that runs from Utica to Thendara and then north to Big Moose. And plans were, I don't know if they're still doing it, but up to Tupper Lake. The cool thing about the Adirondack Scenic Railroad was that in 1980, it actually ran people up to the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid. And it didn't do really well after that. And that's when they shut it down. Here we're hitting Route 28 again. We're coming back into Route 28, and we're going to head north to Old Forge. I started with the Adirondack Scenic Railroad as a car host in 2005. And then my friends convinced me to work toward being a trainman brakeman, which I was able to work toward in 2006. In 2006, I made trainman and brakeman after a lot of work. After my friends convinced me that if I wanted to hang around, I had to learn something. So I took the courses, the NORAC course, to be qualified as a brakeman, and then in 2008, my general manager was running short of people to conduct. It is a volunteer railroad after all, and he convinced me to work toward conductor, which I did, and I achieved in 2008. So I was qualified to tell an engineer what he could do with his train. And then in 2008, 9, there was some issues with personnel, and I called it quits at that point. I was done. So we just crossed over the Moose River. The bridge that we just crossed over marks the boundary line between Thendara and Old Forge. I'm trying to remember, but Donnie and I used to put our kayaks in down to the right somewhere, but I can't for the life of me remember where we did it. We're coming into the main part of Old Forge now, and you'll see a lot of little shops, little gift shops. A lot of them are geared toward the tourists. You know, they're really cute, but it is a lot touristy. A lot of little bars, little restaurants. I've eaten in a few of the restaurants, and I'll let you know how good they were as we get to them. The school for Old Forge and Thendara is up here on the right. It's really a nice little town. I love this little town. It reminds me so much of kind of what you would see in the Adirondacks in the 50s. On the right up here, as we come into the main square part of town, on the right you're going to see the very famous Old Forge hardware. A visit to Old Forge is not complete without a visit to that hardware store. We'll come back to that because you have to see what they carry, what is in there. We're going to take a little right-handed jog down here in front of the hardware store, and I'm going to take you down along the shoreline. That's the hardware store, by the way, on the right. Takes up the whole block. Old Forge sits on First Lake, and this is the shoreline down here. I have to laugh because I think the person who was in charge of naming these lakes, this is the Fulton chain of lakes, must have either had no imagination or must have run out of names, because the 8 major lakes in the Fulton chain that are up this way, their names are First Lake, Second Lake, Third Lake, and so on, all the way up to Eighth Lake. But it is quite an interconnected bunch of lakes, and a lot of fishermen use this chain of lakes. This yellow restaurant up here on the right is Slickers. And when I was here, we ate in there several times lunch, and they had really, really good burgers. I had a really awesome blue cheeseburger in there. A little pricey, and they too are catering to the tourists. And on the left-hand side up here, you'll see Water Safari. This is a really popular water playground, and during the summer, it's packed with families, and puts a lot of kids to work, that's for sure. As you can see, Old Forge and Thendara survive on tourist dollars. It's the main jumping off point, base camp for hikers and backpackers who want to go deeper into the western Adirondacks. It's a vacation place for families trying to escape the heat in the cities. And in the fall, it's the leaf peepers, it's the hunters, and in the winter, it's snowmobiles. It's nothing to see a bunch of snowmobiles lined up in front of a restaurant here in the midwinter. And we're heading almost out of town. We're going to pull in here and circle around back because we're pretty much out of the main part of Old Forge, and head back through town and give you a couple of highlights on the way back. And what you're looking at is Route 28, and it's going north, and that will take you to Blue Mountain Lake, which is home of the Blue Mountain Lake Museum, which is a great spot to hit if you're interested in the early European history of the Adirondacks and how the early settlers lived, mining and logging. It's a great place. And further north of that is Tupper Lake, which is a place that has the Wild Center, which is all about the natural world. And that too, combined the two, really give you an idea of what the Adirondacks are all about. And both highly recommended. So we're heading back toward town. It looks a little quiet in town. The number of people can be deceiving because Old Forge and Thendara are not big towns. They don't have huge populations, but in the summer, especially, the population balloons. Together, the two towns, Thendara and Old Forge, they have less than 750 people that live here permanently. So it's a small town. These last few years, the population has actually been declining. But the tourists make it seem like there's a lot more people that live here than actually do. There's a little Pied Piper ice cream place on the left. I can't remember if that was here when I was working down here or not. I know we did ice cream a couple of times, but I'm not sure if that's where we got it or not. It's a nice little movie theater here. The couple that bought it have done a lot of work to get it up and looking good. We're going to turn left into this parking lot here. And I want to give you a look at just what the Old Forge hardware store looks like. I don't think I'll go inside, but a good walk along the front will give you some idea. This place is crazy. So this is a nice shot of the square in the center of town. Nice little place. And across the street from the park is the Old Forge Hardware. Let's go look in some windows. Check this place out. I see kids' beach toys and sand pails and kids' wiffle ball sets and sporting equipment. They've got teapots in every color you can think of. They've got dishware. They've got pottery. They've got bird houses and bird feeders and angels and gnomes and garden decor. Adirondack chairs and candles and candle holders and signs, lots of little cute signs. They've got clothing, they've got postcards, furniture. There's wind chimes. Don't have a chicken? How about a metal chicken? Look at all the chickens. They've got camping gear and fishing gear and hunting gear, everything you could possibly need for a trip into the woods or on the lake. And oh my goodness, they've got tools. Imagine a hardware store with tools. Ladders. They've got fans and heaters and saws. They've got signs, garden tools, and whirligigs. They've got it all. And more clothing. Specialty foods. If they don't have it, you don't need it. And I've heard it said that if you do want something that they don't have, they will order it for you. I remember my friend Jill and I spent an hour in here one day. We went up and down the aisles looking at all their stuff. They had the craziest stuff. So if you're ever in Old Forge, you really have to stop into the Old Forge hardware just to see for yourself all the crazy stuff they have. It's getting late, so it's time to start heading back home. So we're going to pull out of the parking lot and I'm going to take you back down along the shore again. Only this time we're going to turn right instead of left. Just waiting for the traffic to clear. As we pass by the old firehouse on the right, if Old Forge is anything like the rest of the towns inside of the Adirondacks, inside the park, I'm betting that most of those firemen are volunteer. And we're heading down, and you can see the shore again. We're going to go right and go up and back and then come around. You get a little glimpse of the marina in the distance. We're going to turn right up here at the stop sign. And we're going to turn right again here and then head back out onto 28. Come up in back of the hardware store. And then we're going to turn left at this stop sign. Now, as we head out of town, on the right, there's a couple of little restaurants that we used to eat at a lot. One is called Walt's Diner, and Donnie and I had breakfast in there a lot. Their eggs and hash browns were absolutely wonderful, terrific. Give big portions, really good. And then behind it was a little place called Billy's, and it was an Italian restaurant. They also had very good food. Those two restaurants catered a lot toward the local community. So they were a little more affordable than some of the fancier restaurants. There was also a place north of Main Square that used to make awesome subs, but I can't remember the name. On the right coming up, there's a little mini golf place, a mini putt place. I think we did it once or twice. We didn't do it that often. And we're gonna turn in here and get a little something to drink and some water for the dog. And then we're gonna be on our way. We are gonna make one little stop on the way home. And it's a little rest area, and we're gonna take a little break and stretch our legs. It's really pretty. Can't wait to show you. And we'll be off here in a little bit. What a great little spot. The Indians have a saying, you can never step into the same river twice. What a great spot to pull over and have lunch. So let's walk up here and I'll show you this little pull-off. So this is what the pull-off looks like next to the road. There are picnic tables. It is being called a rest area. What a great little spot. Well, that was a nice little trip, little day trip up to Old Forge and back. And I suppose I could have kept those keys. My good friend Forrest Walton gave those to me when I first made trainman on the railroad. And he would only think that it was right that those keys went back to the railroad. So I'm glad I did it. I feel good about it. And now that time in my life is history, memories. So I want to thank you for coming along with me. It was a beautiful day, gorgeous day. And I want to say thank you for watching. And if you like this video, say hi in the comments below. And like it, subscribe if you feel so inclined. And let's get ready for another journey. Until later, see you again.